Azure DevOps self-hosted agent with Docker. This is essentially version 2. It's been probably 2.5, 3 years since I originally did this demo. So I noticed that Microsoft put out some new documentation on setting up the self-hosted agent with updated Ubuntu and packages and everything. So I figured now would be a good time to go through this. I have seen some comments on the video that some people aren't able to get it to work. So we will go make the change. We're going to do it a little different. I'm actually going to fork this repo, make the change, do a pull request back into the ADO agent repository, and then we will try and get it to work. So a little bit different. Follow along. I've got two windows open. On the left, we've got the ADO project. Actually, let me go to just the kind of the home page. You go to devazure.com, and then BCS5280 is my project name. I'm sorry, not the project name, the organization name. And then within the BCS5280 organization, I've got two projects, Demo and ADO Tools. ADO Tools has that original ADO agent repository. So this is what we actually want to update. I don't want to actually do it from this repository. I want to do it from the demo repository. So let me show how that's done. I made it about, let me go into demo. Let me look at my repositories that I have out here. All right, so I do have a 5280. So I'm actually going to delete that. I think I was out here playing around and I ran out of time to complete this. So I went out to settings. If you have access to the settings, you can delete your repo. Go back to repositories. There's 3 dots on this side. You say delete. And then it wants you to type in the name so you don't accidentally delete a repo that you're still using. So, all right. So let's go back. So we have ADO Tools. We have our master repo, which is ADO agent. And then I want to fork this. This is what you do if you wanted to contribute to this. I've got ADO agent BCS5280, and I want to put this in my demo project. And I'll just leave it on the branches to include only the master. That's all I care about in this case. So I forked it. Now if you look in sort of the breadcrumb line here, we've got BCS5280 as the organization, demo as the project, and then the repo here is ADO agent BCS5280. Now I want to clone this to my laptop. So I click on clone. I've got some SSH keys set up. That's the way I like to access this. HTTPS should work for you. Both of them should work actually, but if you don't have keys, you'll need to use HTTPS. Fairly easy to set up. I'm not going to show that here. Click on copy, put it in my clipboard. And actually, I don't need to do that. What I actually need to do is here, I've got VS Code up. I do have some prerequisites. I'm assuming you've got Docker desktop installed on your PC or your Mac. I assume you've got Docker Compose installed. That's what I'm going to be using to launch the ADO agent. You need Git or Git Bash, and you obviously need the Azure DevOps account. They're free. That's what I'm using here with BCS5280. It's just a free account. Back in ADO, we've got, if you just had opened it up, you might be on the files section, going down to source control. And then I'm going to say clone a repository. I'm going to I'm going to grab the URL for that forked repository. I'm going to paste it over here and press enter. it's asking me for a location to put this. I want to go to BCS 5280 and demo. The way I structure my folders on my laptop, I just create a project folder, and then I've got the organization and the the project, and then I'll store the repositories there. That way this maps with what I've got in ADO. So I'm not questioning where I stored something or if it's the right version. I just have exactly what I've got in ADO. Would you like to open the cloned repository? Yes. Okay. I can see my files. Because this is an Azure DevOps repository, VS Code knows that, and it says you're not signed in. I'm just going to ignore that for now. All right, I've got several files here. When I look at the Microsoft documentation, I'll put this link in the comments below, but they tell you how to run a self-hosted agent in Docker. So I'm just going to follow along with this. Since I'm upgrading my older version of these files, I'm just going to kind of skip around to the portions of the document that I need, and I'll just kind of describe those as we go. Run a self-hosted agent in Docker. Again, they offer two different ways to do this. You can do it on Windows. You can do it on Linux. We're actually going to use Windows, but a Linux container. So I've got Docker desktop installed on my laptop, so I don't need to worry about that. You want to stick with, in my case, we're going to stick with Linux containers. So where it says switch to Windows containers, do not do that. And then scroll down to the Linux section. So we're going to build our Docker file for Linux, even though we're on Windows, and we're going to run that as a Linux container. So here it's talking about it creating a Docker file. When I look here, the first thing it says is for Ubuntu 20.04. When I open up my Docker file that's currently checked in, this is 16.04. So we're going to make the leap from 16 to 20. They also offer instructions here for version 18 of Ubuntu if you wanted to choose that instead. We're going to stick with 20. So I don't have to do this again in a few years. I will have to do it again in a few years, but I won't have to worry about moving to 20 right away. Then they talk about the start.sh file, which I will talk about in a minute. And it looks like that's about all what we'll need to do to get this thing running. So let me go to the Docker file, and we'll find the Docker file here in the documentation. Again, we want to use the 20.04. So this is the Docker file for 20.04. We'll copy that. Let's go back to VS Code, and I want to essentially delete all lines from this file and replace it with the contents from the web page. Do you want to what's going on here? I don't know what I just did. I'll just reopen it. Okay. All right, sorry about that. So when you open it back up, now we've got 20.04. I want to just read through this for a quick sanity check. So the container we're going to use, container image is Ubuntu 20.04. We're going to update the image. We're going to upgrade the image. We're going to install some prereqs for the Microsoft agent. And this curl step is we're going to download a file and pipe it directly to bash. So the smart thing to do here is to take a look at what's in this file just to make sure there's nothing that might be malicious. Look at the first line, it's a bash file. We're setting up things to echo. And there's sort of a disclaimer that they're going to accept interactively. Looks like they're going to install the Azure command line, the Azure CLI. Check for the version. And then they're going to do an update and install. So looks like they're just going to install the command line and a few boilerplate things to make sure this thing works. We go back to the Docker file. So we made it down to the curl step. And the working directory when the container launches is going to be AZP. We're copying that start script from the laptop into the container. And then when the container starts after it's built, it's going to execute the start.sh script right away. And that's going to download if necessary or just start up the agent. So that looks fine to me. I'm going to save that and close it. And I think the other thing I need here is a start.sh. This is the original one from many years ago. And if we go back to the Microsoft documentation, we will scroll down and look for the start.sh, which is right here. Again, we'll just copy that into our memory, into our clipboard. I want to delete the contents of this file, and we're going to paste in what Microsoft wants us to use. Again, you want to sort of scan through here just to make sure it's looking for environment variables, AZP URL, token file, work directory, run as root. Just moved my cursor around. It's just has a cleanup function, has a print header function. It's setting some packages. It's going to install the latest packages using that same methodology where it's curling a script into, actually it's curling packages into, piping it to tar, which is decompressing them. It's going to source an env.sh, and then it's going to configure the agent to start up, and then it's going to run it. So all looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. No concerns from me. Close it. 2 modifications there. The README is not going to change. License development.yaml. So this is the Docker Compose file that I use to build the container and also to manage how it starts. So there's version 3, there's a agent service. We're going to build using the Docker file from the current directory. We're going to use agent.env for our variables. We're going to mount the current directory as /code. We're going to map the Docker socket into the container so we can do something called Docker in Docker. We're going to set the Docker executable inside the container to be user bin Docker, and then we're going to mount up a volume just to allow us to store logs. And then we've defined that volume down here. No changes there. Agent env, again, this is for other people to use. So it just has some placeholders in your organization, your token, Docker agent name, and agent pool. So I've done essentially everything that I need to do. I've got 2 modifications here. I want to test this though before I commit it. You do that by going up to the menu, and we'll open up a new terminal. The terminal started up, and I am in, this is a Windows terminal, so you need to use Windows commands. we will do a Docker -compose space -f development.yaml. I will do a -- pull, which means it's going to pull the, sorry, I need to do a build. And then we'll do a -- pull, which will pull the latest images from the internet if it should need to. And then I'm also going to do a no cache. Typically find that this helps to make sure that apt-get doesn't fail at certain steps within the build. So I think that's it. So docker compose -f /development.yaml build -- pull no cache. So let's give that a go. So it is pulling the latest Ubuntu image. It's updating the image with the latest packages. If there's any vulnerabilities from the time that Ubuntu posted their image to Docker Hub to now, and it upgraded, and now we're installing our requirements. It's continuing that. We're up to about a minute. I haven't actually run this, so you get to watch this in real time. Depending on your internet speed and CPU on your laptop or your workstation, it's going to affect how quickly all this happens. Might be different than mine. Probably is. My laptop is not exactly the fastest thing in the world. And while we're waiting, just thought I'd mention that they list on here you can do this on Windows or in Linux. I assume you can do the same thing with Mac OS. Again, install Docker Desktop, and then you should just be able to come down to these Linux instructions to create the Docker container for the agent. While we're waiting for that, we might as well go ahead. One thing we're going to need eventually is a token. So let's go to our ADO account. So this is going to be done at the account level. And what we want to do here, actually I'm not going to do this ahead of time because I'm not going to do it ahead of time. Okay, so I did just notice that our build has finished. And you scan through and it says it's writing. And you can use Docker scan to run some tests to make sure there aren't any vulnerabilities. I'm going to skip that step for now, but we did have a successful build. All right. I think we could essentially check this in. So let's go ahead and do that. Except I'm going to test this first before I do any check-ins. I think the appropriate thing will be to test it. So let's commit our changes locally. So let's just do that. So we have these two files, start and Docker, which we need to stage for commit. And what I will do here is add a message. So we will say upgrade ADO agent, if I can spell, update ADO agent to Ubuntu 20.04 and latest Docker file and start.sh from Microsoft. Okay, I'm happy with that. We'll commit it. We're not going to sync our changes. We'll stop there. So go back to files. Everything's checked in. So now we need to give this guy a test. The reason I committed it is I'm gonna muck with this agent file. So what you want to do is replace this line with that much of the URL. So dev.azure.com and then the organization and then the token. Okay, so now I can create the token in our agent name and our pool. So let's create our token. The token's created when you click this person next to the left of your profile icon. Personal token. These personal tokens need to be recreated at least once a year. That's the maximum length. I like to label my tokens for what they're going to be used for. So this is my laptop agent for ADO. And what you need to do is you need to set the length. So like I said, you can set it up to a year if you click custom defined. And then we'll go to like February of 2024 in this case. And we can set it to today. Yesterday, I guess. And then what we want to do is give it just agent permissions. So if you go to the bottom, show all scopes, and there should be an agent pools, read and manage. So that's what I want to select. And I think I'm okay from here. We'll create that and it'll put the token in our, in this box. You need to copy it to your clipboard right away. It will go away and this is your only opportunity to copy it. I guess is the point. We want to paste this into our environment file, and then we need an agent name. And I don't remember what I named these agents. So we will close, got the token. What we want to do is go to our project, which is demo. And then we want to go to project settings. Need to expand this a little bit to actually see the settings and agent pools. So the name of my agent pool is demo agent pool. If I click on that, I can see that I have some other agents. In this case, we'll just reuse this laptop demo agent pool one. Let's see if I can open that. Copy it from up here, I guess. All right. So our pool, our agent name. This is our agent name. All right. So we've got that listed as our agent name, and then our pool name is this demo agent pool. Okay, I think we have that set the way we want it. So we have our URL, we have our token, we have our agent name, and we have our pool. If we wanted to specify a specific directory where we want the agent to start, we could. I leave it as the default. And we will write and we will close that. So save and close. I'm back here on the command line. My container has built. So now I want to do docker -compose up, and we will say -d agent. So my service name is agent. You can see that if I open up our compose file. There's only one service. It's called agent. So docker compose up -d means it's daemonized, and then agent is the service. I could leave that off. You don't necessarily need to say agent, and it'll just start everything in this docker compose file that I have defined. And since there's only the one thing in there, that's all that's going to start. I do want to add a -f and a specify my custom compose file here, up -d, and I think that's it. We should be good to go. It says it's starting. It started docker -compose. We're going to do a -f development.yaml, and then log, and I think you do -f. Oh, it's logs with an S. And you can follow along what it's doing within the container. Exited, no such file or directory. Bum, bada, bum, 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 bum. Live testing. So what appears to be the problemo? We don't know. So this is just following along. What I'm going to do, I'm using up arrow and down arrow in the command line to give me my command history. I go back to this up command, and I'm going to remove the -d so it doesn't daemonize. It's just going to run here essentially in the terminal. So it's having trouble finding the start.sh. Why is it having trouble finding the start.sh? We don't know. Control C will stop it because it was sort of hung. Got the start.sh here. Let's look at our development.yaml. It's loading this directory into code. So that might be the difference. So something we can do is we can click on the source. We can do a commit history, and we can see what we changed here. So now I'm comparing what the Docker file looked like before I made the change, before I implemented what Microsoft had given me, to what I had prior. And again, it's the same, that they gave me the same file. So I'm just looking through here. The work directory is the same. I guess that's the main thing. AZP and AZP. Start.sh. Telling me that's a new line. Oh, it's just using entry point versus a command. It should be copying that to AZP. So all should be good. Very interesting. Okay. let me just look at the build. I'm not going to run through the whole thing. Just going to do a pull. I didn't put the no cache in this time. And I did do a pull, though. Might be a detriment. So it made sure it had the latest version. Went through all the steps. They were all cached previously. What I'm curious here is it's copying the start file into, and then it ran it. All right. I feel okay about that. Let's do the up again. What's going on here? So it's trying to do this start. I can't find the start. All right. So Control C gets you out, like I said before. Another trick here is instead of up, we're going to do can I do a run? Let's just do a -- help. It's been a while since I've done this. So the command that we're looking for is run. I can also do an exec. So we are going to do a run. And what I want to do, I just want to enter into a bash prompt. So I'll do a run bash. And I think run is going to require me to put in the service name. So Docker compose -f development.yaml -- run, and then we're going to use the agent service and we're going to execute bash inside of it. All right, so we need to do a --rm, and then we'll do a -I for interactive. Oh, I still have the help message in there. Ha ha. All right, and what we need to do is override. So it's setting up the entry point. So we need to override the entry point with bash. Has it really been this long since I've run a command? Okay, well, what is my problem? Docker compose run bash. Docker compose run service name. We've got that correct. Got the --rm, which just means it starts and then removes. I shouldn't typically be necessary, but we will add a T. Just doesn't like us today, does it? If we just did something like ls. Okay, what am I missing here? Detach. Entry. env. Interactive name. No TTY. No dependencies. Quiet. Remove ports. Use. Working directory. Don't need any of that. So what is the problem? Override. Let's do that. All right. Doesn't override the image. Blah, blah, blah. It's kind of the problem we're having right now ourselves. Okie dokie. Service command, run args, unforgiving. They do not say anything. Let's go find this thing. I don't know. And the whole reason I'm doing this is because I'm just trying to look at what the image looks like. I'm trying to run it. So something is not quite right. So let's go back. It's okay. We don't know what we're doing here. And it's been a while since I've mucked with this stuff. Let's comment out this entry point. And since we did that in the Docker file, we're going to come back here and we're going to look for our last build command. We're going to take out all of these. It'll recognize that just that last line has changed, and it should build us a new image without that entry point. And now we should be able to do a run dash rm dash it and bash. No such service bash. Oh, interesting. How about just sh? Oh, ha. Saying service. So it's a agent bash. All right, so we're in. Do an ls. We do see a start. So if I just run this manually here, actually let's do an env, pipe it to sort. And we do see our agent name has gone from our env file into the container. The pool name is in the container. The token is in the container. The agent URL or the organization URL is there. All right. Fairly happy. Now we'll just run that start.sh command. So why? It's interesting. Bad interpreter. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So I did see something about that. So let's go up here. I think maybe our line endings are wrong. Could that really be? So the line endings are wrong. Could that be? Could it be? Oh, you know what? Does this support env? Oh, that should, yeah. Which bash? Just checking the script. Starts here. Bin bash. User bin bash. Is their own script isn't correct? It doesn't seem likely, does it? Why would they do this? All right, well. So bin bash, this is telling me it's user bin bash. So like which env, user bin env. So why, oh why? So all right, let's just change their script to work. It's always fun when somebody publishes something that's not quite right. So we'll fix their script for them. We will exit. We will build. We will run. We'll try the start script again. And it still doesn't like that. I'm loving this so much. That Control M character is concerning. I wish this was working, but that's just what we get to deal with. So I guess my live presentation was a bad idea. We'll push forward though. We are going to figure this out. So why does it still think that is bad? Can I do a VI? It's not recognized here. I'm going to open up a file browser and go in to this project, and we will look at git bash. And we'll VI the start script. I just did a set list. It should show me what the line endings are, and they all look fine. I'll just run it from the git bash prompt. Everything ran fine. This time I'll do a run --rm. IT should be implied. Agent bash. Wait patiently. Why are you not running? Let's do Control C. The life of a developer. Okay. what you're doing. Does it allow you to see progress or something? No. So there's some other things going on. Anyway, we don't give a rat's. Give a rip. Did we do a build? Docker compose run dash. You do dash f develop run dash rm dash it space agent bosh. No such fill or directory. Things to try. Try two things. Things to try. No such file or directory. Just trying to execute start.sh. What do we got here? We have start.sh. Start.sh should be in the directory. I don't know. Why are you giving me so much trouble? So let's go back to the VS Code. We're going to put a pound in front here. We're going to right quit. We're going to use that git bash window to do our shdiv. We're going to do a build. Why is it being such a pain in the butt? Honestly, don't know. Almost think it has something to do with this being Windows. Let's just try this one more time. Again, if you're still with me, apologize. It's taking a bit, but I wanted to do a live update and show you some of the difficulty. I will get to the bottom of this. May or may not be in this video. But you can see the trials and tribulations we go through. Okay, so let's get out of here. Very frustrating. I'm going to take this. I know this should work. I don't know why you're being a brat here. I'm going to change this back. This just doesn't doesn't seem right. I'm not gonna commit that. Start. Bum. Look at the changes here. Clean up run. What the frick? Entry point versus command. We got those staged. What the? Thinks it's modified. What does it think it's modified? We don't know. How strange. Oh, you rat bastard. Why are you back to normal? This doesn't make any sense. What did I do? Interesting. Okay, we're having fun. I assure you, we are. Gotta be having fun. Otherwise, what would be the point? It's not here. All right. So what happened? Yeah. 3 point. Start. Everything is good. As far as I can tell. We are 110% awesome at this point. So, do I have a terminal? I'm going to try and clone this to WSL. We're on master, get checkout, test, cat the Docker file. Just to make sure we have 20.04, and then we do a DC export. And then we'll do a DCO build dash pull dash oh gosh. And we'll go through this 150 seconds of wonderfulness. Thank you for playing. All right. We're getting there slowly but surely. Should be wrapping up here in a sec. One gigabyte image for the agent. Setting up the command line. Changing start sh, which it found. Okay. So all right, so it just didn't like that cross whatever. So I'm in WSL2. Makes things a lot more complicated, sadly. Okay. So what else do we need here? Okay, so this is done. Essentially, I'm over here. I'm over here. I'm over here, so I can open up this in code, right? I'm in code. I want to update my variables here is what I want to do. So here's a copy of code. Here's a copy of code. I'm just going to take this, see if this will work. Copy this and paste it in this version. Like that. We will go back to WSL2. And we will do a up. Downloading and extracting. Should be able to come over here. And look at agent pools. Demo agent. Agents. It's offline, but that should change here in a sec. And there you have it. Now it is green. So we are able to launch that. So it's working. So we verified it works. No changes needed. Let's go look at our files here. Start Docker file. Looks good. We don't want to worry about the agent. All right. So anyways, I made those original changes. I tested them. I got the agent to start up. I'm happy with what it is. It is what it is. So let's go back here. I'm just going to minimize this stuff so I don't have to worry about it. Because all I want to show now is a quick sort of a tutorial on how to get this thing to merge back. So we're here. We've got our files. I'm just going to check our Docker file to make sure it is 20.04. And what else? The agent is templatized. Development.yaml didn't change. Docker file, we know that's the new one with 20.04. And then the start script. We don't really know what's different about this, but I guess we could look at compare. So these are the things that changed. Blah, blah, blah. It's kind of changed things. nothing really. Nothing really to say here. So, all right. So I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to create a pull request. This is my pull request. I am asking to pass this from here to there. So we'll say, yeah, ADO agent master. Upgrade. And we'll say create. And we'll say complete. Approve. Complete. Delete test after merging. Complete. So we should be good to go. So yeah, we merged it. So now the latest repo in ADO agent is going to be our 20.04. So I think we are good to go. Yeah. So what I can do now is I can go back to WSL, and instead of being here, I want to go to ADO tools, ADO agent, get status. That's a new file. I'm going to do a get pull origin master. Go, new Docker file, new start file. All right, and then if I go back here to ADO demo, and then I create a new directory, ADO local agent, local, do a git clone. So I've got this guy. What I want to do though is I want to copy the agent.env here. Oh, it's got all my stuff in it. And then, It's going to fire up a local copy. We'll go back to our agents just to see that. It is working. Yeah, it already says online. So should say waiting for jobs. Yeah, listening for jobs. It's online. So there you go. I upgraded the agent. Sorry it wasn't more clear. I might go through and make it more clear, but that's the way things go. Appreciate the time. Thank you, everyone. Till next time, have a great day.